when I'm talking about my influences, the people who've had the biggest influence on my work are those I was fortunate enough to be mentored by. So in particular, Tom Clement and Hughie O'Donoghue. I was fortunate to be formally mentored by both of those artists. And it was particularly helpful because at the time I wanted to make larger work. Both Tom and Hughie are large work specialists, but they're also excellent in the areas of colour and glazing and creating atmosphere. As I've said, when I first started painting, my first studio was in London, and so I was very fortunate then to see lots of shows. There's so many galleries, but there was some great shows that came to the Tate at that time. I was particularly influenced by Turner with regards to glazing, layering and light, and also people like Patrick Heron. When I saw Patrick Heron's interpretation of his garden in Land's End, it really opened my mind to the possibility of landscape painting. Similarly, Howard Hodgkin, I love his big, bold paintings, and he reminds me sometimes of Picasso's work. Picasso often says that it took him his whole life to learn how to paint like a child. Often you will see artists who go from being quite formal painters to becoming progressively more abstract over time. Another artist whose work really is, to my mind, embedded in the landscape, love him or hate him, it's Sean Scully. And if you'd like to see his work, there's a huge exhibition of his work at the Hugh Lane, a permanent collection. His work is grids and it's influenced by the fields of Ireland. So other Irish painters that I particularly take influence from, Donald Teskey. I love his huge big paintings and lots of dripping and, a real variety and gestural work. Mary Lowen, similarly, all these people have painted in Mayo. So when I was painting there, that made a big difference. I really, really like Joe Ash Woodrow's work. His is more urban landscapes, again, large paintings and very, very thick textural paintings and great variety in his work from portraits through to urban landscapes. I also was influenced by collage artists, particularly Robert Rauschenberg, particularly in my earlier work, but Sabrina Ward Harrison as well. That kind of self-portraits in words really influenced me. I love the work of Georgia O'Keeffe. I loved her earlier work from New York, but also her later work from New Mexico. Elizabeth Cope is an Irish artist whose work really influences me. She's great at painting the internal landscape and dealing with issues like menopause in a landscape fashion. Likewise, the paintings of Martin Finnan. Martin is a Cork painter and he makes lovely, large, colourful works that to my mind are landscape. Other people who really influenced me, people like Gerhard Richter. His Cage series was a bit of a revelation because he shows chronologically how he goes from, basically he's painting in layers with no thought to the outcome. So the process is the process. And I think that's actually kind of gets you off the hook, but it's a great way to paint. And again, large work that he was made layer by layer. Hughie O'Donoghue says that painting is like archaeology in reverse. You're putting on layers to discover the painting. And that sometimes is a really good way to approach your work. Another German painter, Anselm Kiefer, was a great influence on me because he put elements of the landscape into the work. I did that in my earlier work with like bog cotton into paintings. So I suppose to say there's no right or wrong. There's a huge variety in the people I was influenced by, and I think you will be too. If you can, please go over to our forum and let us know the artists who have influenced your work.